Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Oh, thank you.
So,
I'm pleased to be your father and
yep,
five others.
I'm one of six. So, tell us, Dad, I want to ask you a little bit about your experience of becoming a father um, and being a father, because now you are 80, how old?
83 coming up 84.
Yeah. Your birthday happens to be on the same day as my mate Kev, his birthday, and
Ah,
a couple of others. So, first of all, let me tell you a couple of the things that I really loved about having you as a father is that what I enjoyed when I look back and when I was about to become a father, I said to myself, what can I look back on Dad's uh, influence or his modeling of a father? What can I take and do myself? What did I love most about it? And one of the things that I loved most was bedtime stories. How you would,
bedtime story.
yeah, come in and you'd read us bedtime stories. Sometimes Mum would read them, but I remember the ones that you chose. You got the classic stories, like you bought them. They were called the classics, and there was like Black Beauty and Swiss Family Robinson, Robinson Crusoe. Those old ones there that very famous.
Yeah,
Do you remember reading them?
yes, I do remember reading them. And I was a librarian at Otahuhu College, and that's what prompted my interest in all sorts of classics. Yeah.
Right. So then another thing was, I mean, you're always a pretty gentle and peaceful guy. If we wanted something or if we just talked to you about it, and you generally tried to make it happen. So, for example, going to church on a Sunday, and we would generally, as kids want to go and play with some kids or whatever, and we generally ended up as families having some great family time with other families and having fun. But do you remember the little stream, the rocky stream by the side of the road at Topani on the way between Kaiwaka and Oroforo?
Yes,
Yeah.
I,
So
I do remember that.
Dad, can we stop at the stream? Can we stop and get out? Yeah, you always had time for us to stop and get out and play in the stream. And
And that would be after church, wouldn't it?
that was after church. Yeah, yeah. On the
Yeah,
way home, if we didn't have
on the
anybody
way home.
place to go to,
Yeah, yeah.
and took us swimming down the beach down at the Kaipara Harbour and stuff like that.
Yes, that's right. I had to watch and plan the day for the tidal movements, because we were down in the Kaipara Harbour,
Yeah.
and that was where we took swimming. Fortunately, the boat that was, boats were using it as a mooring strip, and that's facilitated that somebody had come and dug it out, and
Right.
all that sort of thing.
And it was just straight mud, wasn't it? Being an
Yeah,
estuary, so they dug out the mud for the boats. I remember
yeah.
the Maori boys climbing high up into the mangroves and jumping out. I was just a
That's
little
right.
fella then. I think it was a while before I grew up enough to climb the mangrove tree and jump from the tree into the water.
Yes. Mike said, I wish he grew up wanting to be a Maori.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember him trying to convince me one day when we were about 6 that he was actually adopted and that he was really a Maori.
Yeah,
He's as white as we are.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the other things as I was thinking about this week, I was thinking about the stories you used to come out. You used to have lots of good old stories, and I'll occasionally bring them out in my preach. I mean, just last year, I think it was, I told one about your uncle who came through when Corrie ten Boom was visiting,
Yes, that was an amazing story.
a Jew that was in one of the concentration camps during the war, and this story
That's
happened
right. That's
just
correct.
after the war, wasn't it?
Yes, it was after the wartime when Corrie ten Boom was touring the world. And Uncle Phil Frankel, who was a practicing Jew, he rode on his bike from Mount Albert all the way across and arrived at about 11 o'clock when my mother was starting her arty crafty works. And he'd arrived, and he said, "I see a heap of women going into the lounge." He said, "through the front door, and that sort of thing." So he said, "I think I'll join them." And Corrie ten Boom gave the gospel message, and I was sunbathing out the back. I didn't know much about Corrie ten Boom at that stage. I was about 15 years of age, and I heard footsteps come up, and tears were streaming down his eyes. And he said, "Brian," tears were streaming down his face, and he said, "Brian, I have met my Messiah."
And then there's another story you were telling me just a couple of days ago about when you were 19 and just left home and some incident with a tractor.
Oh, yes, that's right. I was about 19, and we had benefactors who would give us a farm job in the long Christmas holidays, which were 6 weeks at that time. I worked for this guy, and I used to do brake feeding out the back and all that sort of thing. And there was two toilets in the house, one in the house and one in a long drop toilet. He was sitting in it at that particular time, the long drop, and I didn't know about this, but I'd been told to go around and brake feed something in a different part of the farm. And so I revved up the tractor, and I went around a way. The tractor had a muffler which was fairly high, and it caught the clothesline, and the clothesline went from in between the garage where the tractor came from and the long drop. He was in the long drop when the clothesline went to it. He was in the long drop, and the long drop was pulled over, and he said to me, he was a very kindly man and a very gentle and slow to anger man. He just said, "That's why I go always around the shed, to avoid the clothesline."
Yeah. So another thing, how's your organ playing? Your Hammond organ and your piano playing?
Yeah, well, yes, I've got two organs and a player piano in the house, and I just play along, secular tunes and the old time ones.
Yeah.
Secular tunes. And
I know. I remember I was listening to a song the other day, a movie, and in that they were playing. Guy was on the piano and he was playing the Black and White Rag, and I said, "Oh, my dad plays that."
Yes, that's
and
right.
The person that I was talking to, really? I said, yeah, he's played that every morning. When I was a teenager growing up, he'd get up in the morning, and there you were in the lounge, either playing the organ or the piano. My favourite was the piano. I liked the old honky tonk piano that we had.
Yeah, honky tonk piano that we had. Yeah, that's right.
You better explain what a player piano is.
A player piano is one that operates with a roll. It passes over suction associated with the keys, and it plays by itself.
A paper roll.
And
I can remember pulling out the paper rolls and reading the outside label and fitting it into the spring load and feeding it in like a film, and then playing the pump pedals down on the bottom of the piano and the piano playing away.
Yes, that's right.
It was fascinating to us as children. So yeah, all right. Well, thank you, Dad. That's really good. Any thoughts on Father's Day and being a father?
Well, I'm delighted to be the father of 6. I just I mean, not just as a contribution to the world population, but but and we lost Jeff, as you know, and that was a sad, sad time.
That's
Because
6 years ago now.
Hmm,
That's 6 years ago now.
6 years ago.
Mm.
Yes. Well, he was much loved, as each of you were, and it's a that shouldn't happen.
No.
Parents should pass on before their children. But anyway, God knows, and He's in a better place.
Yep. Yes. He was 2 years younger than me. So yeah. Oh well. Thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to say goodbye for the moment, and thanks for doing this little video with me. We must do it again
That's
sometime.
a pleasure. I didn't know what I was going to get, or what was expected of me, but I've now been introduced to Zoom, and through your kindness and that sort of thing.
All right, Dad, thanks very much. And I'm going to end the recording. And
may you be blessed, and all your family, wider family.
Thank you.